So for the last couple of years, we've constantly thought about what is the best way we can give back.
So we asked ourselves, how can we help? And what better time to help than now in this current climate?
We are excited to announce our Ramadan campaign.
Our target is to raise money to feed 200 families in East Africa as well as Yemen for the duration of Ramadan.
How amazing would it be if together we can change 200 families' lives? Like, wallahi, that would be incredible.
When you give someone charity, be thankful to them, because you might be helping them with their dunya, but they're helping you with your akhirah.
East Africa remains one of the most unstable regions in Africa, with some of the worst rates of maternal mortality, water and even food security. And subhanAllah, Yemen right now has become the worst humanitarian crisis in the world.
As such, we are aiming to raise £8,000 to provide for 200 families for the whole duration of Ramadan.
So we're going to be doing, inshallah, 100 families in Somalia, 50 families in Eastern Sudan and 50 families in Yemen.
With your support, inshallah, we can be a source of relief, support and mercy to our brothers and sisters in Yemen and East Africa, inshallah. So like, give as much as you can, support as much as you can. If you don't have anything to give, then make dua. That's the least that we can do, bi'idhnillah tawfiq. And we hope that you guys join us on this journey, inshallah, and we can raise this money and we can support these families, bi'idhnillah. I am so excited that we're finally doing this and we're finally giving back, bi'idhnillah.
And from us to you, Ramadan Mubarak.
We're just going to stare at each other. Someone got introduced.
Alright. Allah, a joke.
Yes, boys. We're back again with another episode of SCOPE. Come on.
Yasin, these are how you've seen it in 20 years. Every comment I'm getting in the comment box is, where's Yasin? Where's Yasin? Where's Yasin? We've got Yasin now. Do you know me? Take over, bro.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak to all the gang members. I have finally made an appearance. We've patched things up. We've had some issues.
Finally.
You know, problem was I like Yorkshire tea. These guys like PG tips.
Listen.
Come back unless I could. I love the Yorkshire tea. Over there. So,
anything to bring you back, man. Anything to bring you back.
oh, don't bring no PG tips near me, you know.
Listen, it's open for negotiation. You know what I mean?
We had to compromise a lot to get him back, man.
Oh, yeah, we had to compromise, man. But listen, when you have star talent, you do what you have to do to bring them in.
So, bro, I negotiated. There's a documentary on Netflix about me in 20 years called The Last Dance.
I'm sure you've all seen what's been happening on the timeline. For anyone that's on Twitter, a lot of people have been cancelled, exposed. There's a lot of madness going on, wallahi.
Old tweets being brought back, basically, yeah?
Yeah. What's your opinion on that?
Yasin, you want to start?
Wait to get cancelled, huh? I personally think, I think cancellation should have an expiry date, you get me? I half think that, innit? The other half of me thinks,
okay,
people did a lot of stuff because they thought I can get away with it, it's never going to come back to me. So, like, you know, the saying goes, you make your bed, you lay in it, you get me? You did it, no one forced you to do it. You decided you wanted to pick on these people or them people over there, and it came back to you 6 years later, 7 years later, and I don't have, basically what I'm saying is my sympathy is capped in it, but at the same time, some people are like sending messages to people's employers and trying to get them fired from their job. I personally wouldn't do that. I'm also not going to scream and shout about how it shouldn't be done, but
you're neither here nor there, basically.
I'm both here and I'm there, innit? You did it, so I didn't deserve it, but it's mad as well because we all said some crazy. I think if you're under the age of, I'd say 19 or 18, then nothing should happen, innit? Because we all do dumb stuff under those kind of ages. So if you're too young, I'd say have a bit more. But people that were in their early 20s doing crazy stuff like this, I'm sorry.
But Yasin, let me hit you with this. Yeah, do you think there should be? You know how with crimes there's a statute of limitations, right? So after a certain period of time, they can't take you to court for certain crimes if it passes a statute of limitations. Yeah. These are for certain crimes, I think. I don't think it's for all crimes. Do you think it should be the same for people who say reckless shit or people have said things, you know, especially if, for instance, if people have said certain things and where they are right now in their life and in their viewpoints and their ideology, their philosophy is very different from where they were when they said those things. Do you think people should come at them with the same vim and vigor? What do you think? And the rest of you lot as well.
I agree with you. There should be a statute of limitations because people, they progress, they become different people, they change, and I think we should all be allowed to grow to that level. We should all be like none of us here, nobody anywhere is sinless. We've all done some things that we could be cancelled for. Every single one of us. So I think we should extend the same. Like we can't hold people to some impossible standard that we're not holding ourselves to, even if we're making mistakes. So 100%. But at the same time, like some things are like. Obviously, the thing is, the problem is, where is the line? I don't know where the line is.
That's the thing I was about to say, yeah.
Some things that should be, like you're saying, it's not, the statute of limitations isn't on all crimes, it's only on some crimes. So there should be a line somewhere. I don't know exactly where the line should be, but there definitely needs to be one where, no, this, I don't care how long ago it was never okay for you to have said. But this here, okay, you were 12, I can forgive you for that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So a lot of these people now, who are getting cancelled, for the most part, are public figures, right? So whether they're influencers, YouTubers, actors, comedians, as we saw Kevin Hart, like, was it 6, 7, 8 months ago, however long it was. So a lot of these people are kind of people in the public sphere, in a public figure, and someone can say, and they have said, that the rules are different for people in the public sphere. The scrutiny is higher. And, the rewards are higher, but the risks are higher as well. So you get the benefit from the benefits of, of being in the public sphere. But that also comes with, with an added level of scrutiny. So, Yasin, if someone can say to you, we can't really judge them on the same basis we judge ourselves because they're in the public sphere and we're not. What do you think?
Yeah, it's true, innit? But like that's what you sign up for, innit? By being a public person. Or that's the baggage you're taking on. Like me personally, when I put something online, I try and think, right, am I happy with this? Obviously, sometimes it doesn't go that way, but am I happy with this being out there forever? Because that's really what you've got to put inside your head. So even in 2012, I don't know. Obviously, don't go digging for my stuff, please. Yeah.
You will find gold. If you go digging, you will find gold now.
Even then, I still had half a mind on like it's the internet. You get me? So you don't have control over this once you post it out there, and that's kind of been ingrained from as a kid. But then, obviously, the things that I think the main issue is the things that were considered banter back then are not considered banter today.
Also, okay, I like to look at it from a perspective. Like cancel culture, it's I think a way to take down people that you're maybe sometimes envious of because you put them on such a higher pedestal that you think they should do no wrong, which is absolutely wrong. Do you know what I mean? Everyone like makes mistakes, everyone sins, everyone does whatever. So it's very hard for people to be like squeaky clean. However, like for me, it's not about the cancel culture. It's the fact that what you're trying to get out of it. People are not trying to get anything out of it. It's just, let me expose Yasin and ruin his life, and I'm happy now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, let's learn from this. Let's, where was this stemming from? It's not that. It's basically, you know what? Who does this Yasin guy think he is? You know what? Let's find where he works, expose him, and, so now you're the bully as well. Like, you're part of the problem. You get it? It's literally a vicious cycle. Like, people think just because you're doing this on the internet, you're not bullying. Do you get it? Because if someone is doing wrong, you're meant to tell them, listen, this is where you went wrong. You need to stop doing this. And you also need to look at, are they doing this at 35, 40 years old? Or are they doing it when they were 12 years old? Do you get it? Like, it is completely different.
I agree. But at the same time, like, does the reason for like why someone's cancelling someone matter if the actions weren't justified? So I don't know. Like if someone gets arrested now the police officer arresting them might hate this person because they're black, for example. But truly, he stole something. So they're not doing it for the right reasons. But these lot are trash as well. So where's my sympathy?
100%.
I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And I think like the thing is, like, people that are part of this whole cancel culture, there is no system for them. Because listen, if they wanted to expose, why are they exposing 60 people all at once? What they're trying to achieve from? Do you know what I mean? Like they got a whole bunch of people and expose them all at once. You get it? If you want to talk about, Nella Rose did this, she's wrong for this, blah blah blah, like, and you're exposing her. Do it one at a time, but you can see that they're not even trying to get anything out of this whole exposing people. They're just trying to expose everyone and be like, yeah, boom, let the drama start now.
Yeah.
They want to be entertained, basically.
You get it? Yeah, 100%. I'm not making excuses for them. Like, I think it's wrong because when we were 12, 13, we were still thinking about, like, we were young, 13, 14, 15, whatever. We were young, but you knew if you were writing something, whether it was wrong or right. You get it? Like, you knew consciously, right, I shouldn't be writing this because this. And if I'm trying to write something that I know will piss people off, I know what I'm doing. Do you get it? Yes, you're a mistake. Yeah, you're young. You can make mistakes, whatever. And I think, like the way Nella Rose went about it, I listened to her apology because earlier, I was one of those thinking, yo, shut up, man. Like, I don't even care about your apology. I didn't even click on her apology. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I was thinking, listen, just you did it, move on. Do you know what I mean? Just learn from it and move on. But then I actually listened to, because what I did was I listened to the other girl, the one that looks East African, she from Burundi or something.
One of the worst apologies. I can't even call it an apology, bro. One of the worst things I've watched in my life. But yeah, carry on.
Bro, she was smirking, and I thought, if Nella Rose's apology is going to be anything like this, then I don't want to hear it. Do you know what I mean? It's better for you just to stay silent and let this just blow over. But I listened to it. I listened to it, and she was actually saying, listen, it's my fault. I did it. There's no excuses. I was young. At that point, like I like a lot of self-hatred. Blah blah blah, and that's why I did what I did. Blah blah, and her apology seemed more sincere. Do you get it? So I thought, okay, like it makes sense. She just talked about it and she said, listen, whatever consequences happen. You get it? But I think it's bigger than Nella Rose. It's bigger than any of these such like so-called influences, and it stems, I think, deeper. Because, all right, cancel culture is a toxic thing, I think, personally. These people just trying to find dirt. I was listening to a speech, and there was a guy saying some of these people trying to do this whole cancel culture are like flies that are trying to go from, like, they're trying to find your dirt and poo and whatever, and just, like, hovering. They don't care how much good Yasin or SALMAN or JIBRIL have done. It's about what stain does this person have.
The envious exploit that people are receiving online, and you know what I mean. Carry on, bro.
No, I'm just saying what I've saying is they're basically, man. They're trying to find their those little patterns of whatever wrong they did, and then they're trying to exploit that, and then make a big deal out of it. But go on, Fatah, continue.
Yeah, so like all of this is just trying to find the faults in people. You get it. However, what do you guys think? Like, don't you think there's a deeper problem? Where does this stem from? Because, all right, cancel culture is toxic. Exposing people for no reason, it don't make sense. But do you think there's something deeper in it than just this whole exposed business?
Well, I reckon, you know what it is with especially with Twitter. Twitter has become like an echo chamber, where if you don't say the right things in the right way, then the ideological mob will just tear you down. So like there's this full intellectual ideological purity that they try to maintain in Twitter, that's just completely devoid from any reality, any sense, any understanding of how we work and function as human beings in a society. Yeah. Which is why a lot of the times when people say, oh, when people try to extrapolate from Twitter about how people think or how people would potentially vote or how people respond to a certain situation, a lot of people, especially a lot of analysts and a lot of people that work in public policy, they take it with a pinch of salt because, Twitter has become this kind of echo chamber where it doesn't really reflect how people really think, and we see that time and time again. You saw, listen, for those of you that were active on Twitter during the UK elections, you saw how it was completely dominated by pro-Corbyn tweets, pro-Corbyn and pro-Labour policies and perspectives and all these things. And, people were talking and people were engaging and people from all facets of society, from the entertainment field in a way it never had before. You had rappers, drill artists, grime artists talking about politics in a way they'd never really done before. And the same across the spectrum, actors and directors and so on and so forth. But listen, you saw what happened. you saw what happened in the general election. Do you know what I mean? It really was that simple. Twitter's become that right now. Do you know what I mean? So if you say something that people think is unacceptable, I don't know if you saw that Somali kid who posted up. He posted up this tweet this little video where he said something like he straightens his hair. He's got a lot of hair, straightens his hair.
Oh yeah.
And then he's like, I look like he said I look like an Asian guy, or I think a Pakistani guy or a Bengali guy or something. I don't know, something like that. And then he spoke, I think, a sentence or a word in Urdu. And then the backlash he got was kind of mad. Do you know what I mean? So it's this thing where people, it's full woke, bro. People want to be offended. People want to find a reason to be. People call him racist for speaking Urdu and straightening his hair. At worst, it can be slightly insensitive. Do you know what I mean? If we're gonna keep a buck,
literally, not that
at worst, it can be a bit insensitive. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why are you doing the accent? But then everyone's doing accents. You know what I mean? That's not something, huh?
It's a pressure in the Olympics,
It really is. It really, really is, bro. And listen, you find it everywhere, and it's so exhausting, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's like people want to hold people to this puritanical standard that they don't have for themselves. You look at what they do and what they believe, and it will be completely different to what standards they try to uphold to other people. And so it's mad. It's just pure hypocrisy. I think it's pure hypocrisy.
You know what epitomizes all of this? Yeah, there was like a thing that was going on Twitter where people would like either find some sort of joy from other people being cancelled, and then there'd be a quote tweet saying, "Is this you?" with a screenshot of a tweet.
100%
would post. That is Twitter in a nutshell.
That's people crazy.
Oh, look at you getting cancelled. Wait, you're cancelled. Oh, mate, you did the same thing. Or
bruv,
you tweet something so dumb.
Bruv, you know what it is? You know that thing you do when you put two mirrors against each other and it's infinity mirror behind you. That's how it was like. Do you know what I mean? Someone says it, someone screenshots their tweet, you said it, and then someone quote tweets that person. It's a joke, bruv. It's a joke. It doesn't. Yeah, go on.
The work like this background here does. You get me?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
100%. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And I think Twitter, like I've been saying it for the longest. Yeah, I think it's a toxic place. It's a place where people are readily trying to get offended. So you're combing through tweets of people just to see what people are saying and how you can get offended by it. I think this generation now is getting very sensitive. But I want to go back to I don't remember exactly how this whole digging up tweet started. Does anyone know how this latest drama, like how did it unfold?
I think it was like one time, I don't know, overnight. It must have been a project, because on one particular time I've seen how many 20 influencers had about mad tweets dug about them. They were brought up. and all you had to do was put the at name and then the specific word that you're looking for, and then you just find like a gold mine of bare stuff. It was just mad, but it was like overnight, man, and then it was just mad. That's what you think?
I have no idea how it started. I
ain't got a clue on that.
You know what? Like anything else. Oh, sorry, my connection dropped. What were you saying?
Sorry, no, I was saying it just comes back every 6 months. But yeah, do continue.
Yeah, no, 100%. Listen, just like I think most things, this is something we've imported from the States. You know, and it finds its roots in kind of the you know, in the States now, especially around university campuses and all that kind of stuff. There's, you know, this new ideological strain where people, you know, if you don't follow a particular, ideological perspective, or if you don't toe a particular ideological line, you're cancelled. You know, they come for professors, they come for speakers, they come for anyone really. You know, so it comes from that, and you know, you see in the States what happened with Kevin Hart. You know, when they brought up his Yasin still with us.
Yep.
Yeah, he's there, yeah.
Are you? Oh no, you just you're frozen for me in this one. And I wish I took a screenshot, bro. It was glorious. It was glorious, bro. It completely put me off. Like I couldn't concentrate on what I was saying. So yeah, man. Listen, just like you know, a lot of negative things. You know, we've imported from the States this cancel culture, innit? And you know, it originated kind of in university campuses before it came into the social media sphere. But it's crazy, because that, you know, going back to what you said, it's not genuine, because if it was genuine, then there will be attempts to reconciliation. There'll be attempts to, you know, finding, you know, growth, how we can move on from that. You know what I mean? How we can change minds and perspectives. But it's not about that. It's not about that at all. It's like, sorry, JIBRIL, I'll finish the story and then you jump in. It's you don't think the way I think, so you're evil or you're wrong. Yeah. I don't want to engage you in dialogue. I don't want to see how we can move together and maybe find some, you know, middle ground. I don't want to do that. It's just I disagree with you, which means you're evil. You know what I mean? This zero-sum game. You're either with me or you're against me. It's really that simple. Go ahead, bro.
Now, you know, it's not just you would find that in the cancel culture thing, but it also is almost any debate on any topic on Twitter. It's like, if you have an opinion, if someone comes with the opposite opinion, it's like there's no, like you said, there's no dialogue. It's basically, let me bash this guy as much as I can to get as many retweets and likes as followers as possible, because obviously the more outrageous things you say, the more, like, you know, the more exposure you'll get. And it's like it takes you away from the path of sincerity in terms of like, okay, you want to educate this person, but nah, at the same time, like, for example, you know, when someone says a mad tweet or whatever, instead of probably DMing them and say, hey, listen, this ain't what it is, you quote tweet them. And then you just say something on top and say, yo, look at this idiot. Look what he's saying. And it's like, he's an idiot, but you could have done it about the right way. But yeah, nah, man. How do I say it? Let me end it like this. Like, the clout is what judges, clouds their judgment. That's the one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I hear that.
Just adding to what JIBRIL's saying as well, yeah? I think it's gotten to a point now where, like, you can't. So back in the day, you could just, like, anyone that you don't like, you just go and
attack them,
send them abuse. Yeah. Just some vile way that you can think of. Innit? That's how it used to work back in the day. Now it's not really acceptable anymore. So what do? You either A, you cancel them, or B, there's certain individuals that have been cancelled that everyone unanimously hates because of what they've done in the past, and you can send them abuse. You can say whatever you want about them.
It's allowed.
Yeah, let me give you an example. That old man. It doesn't. If that old man just says 1 + 1 is 2, people will have something to say about it, because of all the stuff he said in the past. He's an untouchable within the social media sphere. Anyone can say what they want about him. So it's first example I could think of, but there's several characters like him where, because they've done some certain things in the past, okay, now we can completely blacklist this person. Oh.
Say what everybody said.
Yeah, exactly.
Public
Yeah,
opinion
yeah.
as well. So if he changes his stance and is all of a sudden this like super likable guy, if he try to say some abuse, that's it, man. The hordes will attack and gather, and and say, listen, don't attack him. So it's about public opinion.
More
Twitter
specifically,
opinion.
when it comes to, all right, like enough about the cancel culture, but more specifically about the self-hatred going on. People are hella surprised when there were so many people out there dissing Somalis. Like it's not been a thing. Like it's not been a thing for the last 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Like people been dissing Somalis for the longest. It's nothing new, and people are all of a sudden surprised that, oh my God, I can't believe it. How dare you say this about Somalis and da da da. It's like, starting to expose them today won't make a difference because this has been happening for 20 years. Anyone that's gone to school here in the United Kingdom, early 2000s, 2005, whatever, 2006, it was a struggle. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's been phases. I know, like, the Caribbeans, when they were in maybe like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, going to school, they must have suffered a lot or struggled a lot. Do you know what I mean? And then Africans came, so like Nigerians, Congo, Ghana, and being an African in school was a diss. No one can tell me it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? They used to take the piss out of our language. They used to take the piss out of our food. They used to take the piss out of like the way we look, everything. Do you know what I mean? And we're not talking about like Asians or white people like dissing us. It was other black people, so Caribbeans, like used to diss Africans, and they'd be like, "Yo, blood, at least I'm not African still," and people would laugh just because of that. Do you know what I mean? I remember going to school in that period, so like people are all of a sudden surprised that now, where like it was a popularity contest. The person that can diss a Somali or an African the most is the funniest, is the most hilarious, the most popular, and that's how it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so out of the bottom of the joke, basically.
Yeah, and we came like, let's say beginning to late 90s, early 2000s. A bunch of us came. People didn't even know what Somalis were, right? And all of a sudden, Africans looked at it and looked at us and thought, Alhamdulillah, okay, thank the Lord. These
newcomers.
these Somalis are here now, yeah? Yeah, these Somalis are here now, newcomers, yeah? Fresh meat and that. So Somalis used to get it left, right, center. Right, center. Do you know what I mean? And wallahi, half the stuff they used to like, because we're hella like proud people. Half the time we didn't care what people said. Do you know what I mean? And because we're all like, people look at us and think, you know what? Because these people are united. As soon as you see another Somali, it's like, yo, Somali, where you from? Blah, blah. And it's like, people used to look at us like, yo, why are you guys all so like, just because he's Somali, you don't even know him. Like, what, is he your cousin too? Do you get it?
That tinge of jealousy in there. Like,
yeah.
What cousins do you have?
There's always been jealousy, but I've spoken to like a lot of Africans that are like my friends in it, like Nigerians, Ghanaians, and they used to say like, listen, we used to get the abuse from Caribbeans, and when there was new Africans now, we never even used to look at you guys as Africans, but we thought, oh, other black people, okay, we can diss these lot because that takes the light and spotlight away from us.
Yeah, basically, they deflected it.
Oh, like adding on to that, the difference as well, because Somalis predominantly Muslim, whereas other Africans will have people. Most of them other like West Africans that are here are not Muslim. They're either Christian or something else in it. So when it comes to having that common ground with other black people, they'll have more of that. We dress differently, we look differently, we behave differently. Maybe Setman could like basically change the way they dress a little bit, and you wouldn't be able to tell, is this guy from Ghana or is he from like, I don't know, Barbados or something? You know what I mean?
Barbados, yeah.
So for us, it was a distinct difference in it. But the issue is the fact that people are ignoring all of that, and they want to do threads about how Somalis are anti-black. Like, it makes
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think maybe this is one of the reasons how this whole thread started, because a lot of people are basically spearheading this campaign where people are trying to say, because of the way you behave, because of the way you act, Somalis are racist. Do you know what I mean? Like, you lot are hella racist, but people are forgetting. Like, I'm not saying Somalis are not racist. I'm not saying Jamaicans are not racist. I'm not saying nobody's not racist. Everyone has their like moments. Do you know what I mean? And people behave in certain ways. However, let's not forget that Somalis and East Africans, specifically Somalis, were people who used to get it left, right, center. If you were having a bad day and you wanted to just take the piss out of someone, and you would just say 2-3 things about Somalis. Yeah, just say a few things.
No,
I mean, and it's also the victimization, man. Like, you know what I mean? They would say, "Oh, Somalis are anti-black," and you know they'll come and cry about it. And it's like, I've never heard a Somali guy crying about, you know, his forehead being dissed, or, you know what I mean, his features being dissed and stuff like
bro,
that.
Bro, aliens, they used to talk about, forehead is the nicest of the disses they used to say. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are millions of disses they used to say.
Yeah.
But like, how many times would they say, you like Arabs, you're not Africans, Somalis ain't black? How many times have you heard that ignorant statement? Do you know what I mean? Like, Somalis ain't black blood. Nah, you're not black.
Yeah, 100%.
Look at your language. Look at your way you behave. Look at the clothes your mum and that wears. All of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? And looking deeper into it, yes, there was an anti-Somali campaign going on, but it was more anti-Islam. Do you know what I mean? There was so much Islamophobia happening.
There's low-key a lot of Islamophobia. But let me ask you another question, You know, if a kid, a Somali kid, his whole secondary school, his primary school has been called, you're not black, you're not black, you're not black, and there's some sort of definition for being black, i.e. more closely tied to Nigerian or West African or even Caribbean style or whatever they are in it. When he grows up now and he says, I don't identify as black, can you really blame him? Big man. Because even on a like, because there's so many definitions for black now, but if what he's been told his whole life is you're not black, and now he's like, listen, I'm Somali, I'm not black, and now they want to turn and flip and say, listen, why are you not claiming black now? Because you said I wasn't black. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't just take flipping cake, buy your cake and eat it, man, or take it. I don't know the phrase, man, but yeah.
Bro, the whole idea of black is a scam anyway, isn't it? That's just
man, it's a social construct.
Because you know, look at British people over here, do you think they look at a Polish guy and say, we're both white, we need to stick together?
No. I'm English, man, you're Polish.
This guy's French, my man's Albanian. You're all different people to each other. So that's really like, the idea of black people has basically been, that was the initial idea that was used to justify enslaving people and bringing them together. All these people with darker skin, you can justify enslaving them because they're a different race. But they might be genetically, you as a Somali, for example, might have more in common with some Persian man than certain man in South Africa, for example. Do you know what I mean? You don't know that. So really, what is it? It doesn't make any like real sense.
You know, if you go to Africa today, smack in the middle of DRC Congo, he's not going to say I'm black. He's going to say I'm from Congo. Another guy's going to say I'm from Guinea. Another guy's going to say I'm from Gambia. Like, they all know where they're from. They're all from a certain area. Do you get it? So we know where we're from. I'm Somali. So I come to this country and I'm Somali. Okay, if you want to look at an umbrella term, like, because, you know, like, now we're in a demographic of there's different, I don't know, it's a big melting pot of different populations and stuff. You can say there's an umbrella, for Somalis, Caribbeans, Africans, and we're black. That makes sense, and through that umbrella, I can identify as black. But don't get twisted, G. I know I'm Somali. You get it? And that's what I'm
representing. Now listen, bro, 100%. Everything everyone has said is 100%. You know what I mean? You know, listen, we all had similar struggles. Like, you know, growing up, I had the same thing. You know, you'd have people, you know what I mean? You'd have West Africans and then kind of Caribbeans saying you're not black. You'd have, you know, Asians saying you're not black. You know what I mean? Like everyone around you would be saying that. You know what I mean? And then, you know, when it's like what JIBRIL said, if you hear it often enough, and if it's being enforced long enough, of course that's gonna play a part in, you know, developing how you feel and view yourself and how you think about yourself. And you also point to the fact that you have a strong connection of your identity. Then, do you know what I mean? It's just it's going to create, you know, those you know, it's just, you know, it's going to develop how you think in a very different fashion, you know. And you're speaking about the umbrella, you know, the umbrella kind of terminologies and kind of context for ethnic minorities in this country. There's like this, not necessarily a backlash, but there's significant noise being made around kind of Black British people that are saying we don't really agree with the, you know, the POC, the People of Color acronym or umbrella, because every minority's experience is not equal, you know. And, you know, for all the challenges that we faced growing up, you know, me as an Eritrean, trying to, you know, find my place, and you know, as Somalis doing the same. Our experience growing up Black Muslim is radically different, for instance, as a point of example, to South Asians in this country. You know, and you know, the experiences aren't then I mean, they're not unipolar, they're not the same. And even amongst, you know, those, we all know, you know, just as a lot of people say that within East African communities there's a lot of anti-Black sentiment, it pales in insignificance compared to the anti-Black sentiments in the South Asian community, you know, and how that's kind of reinforced time and time again. So you know, it's you know, these I forgot the point I was making, but
you're going in.
Yeah, I completely forgot. You call it.
Basically, you're saying South Asians and the experience they have and the experience Black Muslims have are completely different, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yes, it's basically, you know what I mean. It says this whole idea that, you know, grouping people under umbrella, you know, groups, or, you know, to make things easier, more digestible, more, you know, by governments and politicians and stuff. You know, it might seem nice and neat when you tick a box, but it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really represent the reality that these communities are living and experiencing, you know, on the ground. But 100%. Listen, you're bringing the old school. I love that. I love that. I love that. But the funny thing is it's a Windows thing on a Mac. That should be. There's a problem there somewhere, bro.
No, you open your mouth, bro. Just leave it.
No snitching,
it. Black, bro. How dare you?
Yeah, but yeah, it's like my final point is like, listen, if you want to quickly get a reaction from a group of people, and if you're trying to get a bit of views, the easiest thing to do is just talk about Somalis. To get it, like whether it's a YouTuber, whether it's someone who's calling himself an influencer today, whether he's a rapper or like a singer, what they do is basically they will drop either a couple of Somali lines or talk about Somalis, diss them or compliment them or whatever, and all of a sudden their views go up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And from a marketing perspective, that's what they've realized. So all they look at it and they think, you know what? I would definitely 100% get a reaction from these Somalis. So let me name drop. You understand? But there's a lot of xenophobia, a lot of Islamophobia. We've been getting it. It didn't start in 2020. It won't finish in 2020. People are just more politically correct today, but they still feel about you the way they felt about you 20 years ago. So nothing's going to change. Let's just respect each other, and that's the least we're asking for.
Let's just keep it civil.
As an individual, respect everyone. And the thing that I wanted to add to that is, like, I feel like a lot of Somalis now are spending the majority of their time campaigning about anti-blackness in the Somali community.
Yeah,
it makes sense to me.
I'm not like it's an issue, but it's the wrong time.
You know, listen, with respect, listen, I'm not saying, listen, I'm speaking as someone looking from the outside looking in, but from all the challenges that faces your community, listen, would I be remiss in saying that's not serving top 5?
Top 15 would be a stretch.
Do you know what I mean? Let's keep it a whole buck. Do you know what I mean? If there's issues of inequality in your culture, it's not really. I'm not discounting skin color, but that's not the top one. It's not even.
Nah,
It's not even the major one, you know. And we all have challenges in our community, but
we
I
have
think
so many
people-
challenges, man.
100%. I think people who focus on these kind of things maybe are not really seeing the bigger picture, or they're not really seeing. They might not have a real appreciation for what the challenges of communities are. They might be transplanting something from another community and just trying to fit their community in the mold. You know what I mean?
So, man, as soon as you start saying what you just said there, now you're talking from a point of privilege. Do you understand? All of a sudden, you're talking from a point of privilege. But it is true. Like we have so many issues. No one is disregarding colorism within our community.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because it's real. It's real.
Yeah, it is real. Go on, Salman.
No, carry on, please.
But we have bigger issues, and also like because we're talking about one aspect, don't mean this other aspect is disregarded or doesn't exist. You know, sometimes you start talking about an issue, and it's like, but how about this? And it's like, I have not said anything about it, but yes, I also agree with you. This also exists. Do you get it? And it's exactly what Yasin was saying about Oppression Olympics. Like, there's a lot of that happening. Do you know what I mean? You talk about a certain issue, and everyone else wants to bring out the 15 other issues we also have. Do you know what I mean? But this all stems from how, you know, black people have been treated for the last 200-300 years or whatever, and how it's been engraved. All of these Eurocentric features, talking about, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm dark, but I'm a bit light skinned. You know, like I'm all right. Do you know what I mean? Is that mindset, and where does that stem from? It's not, you know, it doesn't come from like just a group of people talking about how they don't like this certain skin color, blah blah. We have a lot of self-hate. You understand? Even our parents and all of these group of people, it comes from their parents and their parents after. It's just how black people have been treated, and the mindset we have today. And it's something that over the next 30, 40, 50 years needs to be washed. You get it? And teach the next generation. But it's not just something that's going to change from one conversation. It's just you need to work on your mindset and how you will play your part in changing it. Do you know what I mean?
Just adding on to that as well, yeah. I think colorism is a big issue within our community, and that's something that if you're campaigning for colorism and for that to change within the Somali community, then all the best to you. What I'm referring to personally is outside of our communities. So when it comes to relationship between Somalis and other African people and other people who are black as well, I think everyone, we all in general have the opportunity to be building bridges. But I feel like with a lot of people who are literally like, we could be talking about the weather, but when they're going to talk about how anti-black Somalis are, they try and shoehorn things into the conversation. I really feel that's done for disingenuous reasons. I feel like that's maybe done for to seek approval from other people or whatever. Because a few anonymous accounts and whatever are saying some crazy stuff.
That's the thing, man.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I agree. It's something I've seen a lot, and 100% Yasin is what Yasin is saying. You could literally be talking about how amazing the beaches in Africa are, but like, you still don't want to talk about how racist Somalis are. And it's like, yo, what's going on? Like, what is this campaign? Do you know what I mean?
We're not more or less racist than anyone else. Like, let's be real here. Do you get me? We're human, and the rest of us are all trash.
But it's just one or two little incel accounts that you can't really see their names or their faces, and they just make a living out of just saying the most triggering things on Twitter. And so nowadays, obviously, colorism and anti-blackness, and then they will just say things like, "Yo, listen," a lot of derogatory terms and stuff like that, and then other ethnicities will look at that and be like, "Oh, you know what? Because of these accounts, what they said, all of you guys must think the same way." And it's like, come on, bro, they're a troll account, man. Stop fishing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Like,
and on top of that, Jibril, I just remembered something. I don't need to answer for another Somali and how he treats other people. You understand? If
you
he
don't have
does
to
something
apologize to
wrong,
him.
I don't need to be apologizing for another Somali. Do you know what I mean? Like if he does something wrong, stick it on him. Tell him, yo, listen, what are you doing? Why do I have to answer for another Somali that took the piss out of a
100%.
Caribbean guy or another Nigerian or something?
Mm.
Do you get it? It's like me holding you account for all the Christians and what they do, or all the other Nigerians out there, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Picking up Mark from the street and saying, you know what, your cousin up in Yorkshire or whatever, or Liverpool said X, Y, Z. You need to apologize for it. I ain't got a clue. Do you know what I mean? I can't really. Yeah. So, and that's what they do. Like, a Somali guy or a girl will say something, and it's like, oh, nah, you Somalis, man, you bunch of racist, this and da da da. And it's like, yo, what's that got to do with me?
Yeah, a lot of weak people, man, that are just being apologetic, and it's like you're seeking their approval, and you're just trying to beg and be like, oh, we're not like this. Just shut up, bruv. You can see, you can see, like it's a troll account. He has an egg for his
100%, 100%, or some anime and some anime thing.
Or you're trying to advocate,
bro. 100% right, yeah, bro. You will go and amplify what this troll account is saying. I would have never known about it. The whole timeline would have never known about it. You chose to bring this nobody into the public sphere, so you are the one. It's like Kate Hopkins. If you ignore these people, they'll go away because they're feeding off attention. But instead, every 6 months, you know what? I'm bored. Let me retweet one of these incel accounts, these troll accounts, and see what happens. And then you want to be surprised at what happens next. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Is that what they say about Katie Hopkins? They say Katie Hopkins off TV. They say she's such a lovely woman. Like, I think it was Rich that was saying, like, yo, I was off the air, we were having banter, and as soon as the cameras came on, bro, I couldn't believe what was coming out of her mouth. Do you know what I mean? So these people want to get a reaction.
Yeah, fully.
Sorry, Salman, go on.
Yeah, no, bro. I was just saying, that's how you know it's disingenuous. When you're taking, what a few anonymous accounts will say, and then you're taking that, and then you're trying to make it seem like, this is what the whole community is saying. That tells me everything that I need to know about you as a person. In terms of what you're trying to do, Rob, is you already have an opinion in your mind, yeah, and then you're taking that, and you're running with it. You know what I mean? You're finding, what you're doing is you're cherry picking, and you're finding information that aligns with the the perspective you already have in your mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that and the fact that you're doing this, bro. Listen, you can tell that's an incel flipping anonymous account, bro. Like my guy said, it's an egg account. Or have some anime picture. Do you know what I mean? Come on, bro. Like you know what's going on here, bro. And then people are actually taking it serious. And the big names as well, bro. They'll take that, look at these Somalis or this or that, or look at these people, look at these Muslims or this and that. Come on, bro. Muslims talk about this. Come on, man. That's nonsense.
Yeah, let's round it up on solutions. Solutions. What do you think the solution is for this?
I would say a big plate of mind your own business would definitely not go amiss. Don't go digging up no one's tweets. Just sit down. I'm sure you've got a laundry list of things to be doing. So get to doing it. Man. Work on yourself, please, mate.
Salman?
No.
I reckon just people need to park their, the biases or their preformed opinions. Park them and then come with an open mind, didn't it? Because a lot of these communities now are engaging together in a way they never have before. Do you know what I mean? Before, we all used to be very segregated. We all did our own thing. Do you know what I mean? But now we're mingling in a way we really haven't kind of before, innit? So listen, come with an open mind, innit? And don't be on either side of the spectrum, innit? Don't bend over for people and then let them run, ramshot on you and your community and all of that. And just you saying whatever you think will make them happy, you know what I mean? And just betraying your community on you know what I mean, in the come up. And don't be on the other side and be completely stubborn and blindsided and just being like, these people are different. No, find a happy medium. Find a medium where you're able to, engage with people and have an open mind to different perspectives, different viewpoints, different cultures. Because you're not all going to agree. That's normal. Do you know what I mean? If you will never find on this earth a person you agree with on everything. Mustahil. It's impossible.
No,
so don't try to focus on the things that you disagree on. Find the points of agreement and then leave it at that. Be like, okay, we agree on this. There's a lot of things we don't agree on, but that's okay. That doesn't make you some shaitan. That doesn't make you inherently evil. It just means you have different opinions, different viewpoints, different beliefs. And I can respect that. Yeah. But I'll focus on the things that, unite us, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
Jibril?
Yeah, I'll second what Salman said, man. If there's open, honest discussions about the problems that we all face, and like Salman said, the things that let's focus on the things that makes us similar. And there are a lot of problems that each ethnic group faces that are basically like how to say this, that each ethnic group will face same problems or some problems that we share. So it's like when one ethnic group comes up with a solution, you can learn from them and you can contribute to them, and if we just as a whole empower each other, and we can learn to grow and build with each other. Do you know what I'm saying? And when it comes to these little incel accounts that say a madness, just let them have their own little dark corner of the internet where they just chat madness in that corner, and just leave them alone, because people, like real people that have accounts, when they tap it, like you boys said, when they tap into that and say, hey, look that's what causes the madness. So just leave them weirdos alone, and they'll soon fade away because they have no reactions, they have nobody to trigger. So once everybody focuses on and be honest with each other, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people won't be honest with what they said in the past or the way their current viewpoints are. But if everybody's honest and has an open conversation, like the man said, then inshallah, bro, this place will be a lot better. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
I think it's bigger than basically. This has to stop now. If you're trying to comb for faults, you would most definitely find them. It's like Salman saying, like, let's just focus on things that we all have in common, and empowerment is important. But if we can't do all of that stuff, then like Yasin said, just mind your goddamn business and let's just keep it moving. Do you know what I mean?
Straight, man.
Yeah, Yasin, is that gold I see behind me?
Huh?
Is that pure gold I see behind me, bro? That's money, bro. I'm just seeing money behind you right now. Go ahead, bro.
Even if you don't like the person, or even if they have a viewpoint that you can't stand, just keep it civil. You know what I'm saying? And you rather just shut your mouth and say something mad. You know what I'm saying?
Literally. But on that note, guys, it's been great to record another episode after like this whole long lockdown period, man. I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie to you. I swear, this lockdown needs to be over. Obviously, go on.
No, I'm just tired. I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing the same faces and same walls. Okay. Do you know what I mean? I have never wanted to socialize more in my life, bro.
Trust me, man. Yeah, man. We're going on holiday after this. Yeah.
Say no more, bro. Say no more.
What do you mean holiday? Let's go to the park. Let's do anything, man. I don't care.
Yo, guys, like, share, subscribe, comment, the lot.
What do you think?
And
the comments.
We would love to hear what you think, your thoughts, your feelings. Please. And on that wonderful note,
thank you very much.